In today's video, we're going to have a talk about client rights versus self-care. Hey there, Joomla fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Joomla fan too. Thanks for tuning in to Watch and Work livestream number 179 here on the Basic Joomla Tutorials YouTube channel, where I show you my favorite extensions, tools, and tips for building and maintaining Joomla sites. I also work on Joomla sites, maintain them, migrate them to Joomla 4. So if you're looking for help, short-term, long-term, someone to hire, or even just to get you out of a spot, drop me an email, tim@cybersalt.com, and let's talk. Today's video is brought to you by mysites.guru. You know the story. Head on over to mysites.guru. Get a free site audit for your Joomla site. While you're there, you can check out all the tools and information that will save you time and money managing one or multiple Joomla sites. Also does WordPress sites. And if you decide to subscribe, use the coupon code BASICJoomla and you will get your first month free. All right, everybody. Hello in chat. I had a little boo-boo setting up the live stream. I had it set to go at 11 p.m. Usually it's 11 a.m., so I changed that time. And anyways, we're live now. Hello to Mary, Bjorn, and Mary says, MySites.guru is your hero this week because it helped with the client with a hack. Excellent. Yeah, it's really great for finding those hacked files. All right, so why did I pick today's topic? I've been wanting for a while to put together something for my business site that communicates to my clients or potential clients how I think that they should be treated, what they have the rights to, and just general thoughts that I have floating around my head from time to time. And also, I've also wanted to put something on there just to set some boundaries for clients, and also to give them some tips on how our working relationship can be more efficient, more affordable for them, and more enjoyable on both sides. And so I think that's you got the client rights, but you also have the self-care. And I thought that'd be an interesting discussion for us to have today. What I'm going to do is paste a link to a Google Doc where everybody can type in their ideas and comments, and we can discuss those. We'll see how that works. And if it turns out that this doc gets hacked and starts getting abused, well, then I'll just cut off. I'll just cut off access to it. And the only reason I expect to be abused is if someone comes on the stream and starts going wild. But I haven't published it publicly anywhere. So without further ado, why don't we turn our attention to the screen and we'll check it out. All right. And also, I will give you the link right here in chat to the Google Doc. All right, so I have a few ideas to start out with, and one of the things is, and you know, I don't know, maybe client rights is the wrong term. Maybe we should put something. Maybe I should put something else. But I'm going to the first thing that I would say that every client should have the right to is your and I'm going to type this out, your website and assets should belong to you. All right, and so one of my points about this, oh yes, Mary says self-care is your downfall. Hello, Tony. Greetings. You're in Wales. I'm on the left coast of Canada. Thanks for joining us today. All right, so your website and assets, let's call them digital assets. Digital assets should belong to you. All right, and so for that, I think one point is that your domain should be registered in your name and accessible by you. All right. You know, I see this a lot with people. Someone has been doing work for them, and it's like, okay, we're going to register a domain. And so I, as a developer, I don't do this, not long term anyways. I have done it quickly. But I, as a developer, go ahead and just register the domain in my name to get things working. And I say to myself, and I know it's me talking because I recognize my voice, later on you need to change this into the name of the person. And then you get busy. So what happens is sometimes, and maybe many of you have experienced this, a client comes to you and says, oh, I want to make some changes to my website, or my former web developer, I can't reach them, or they died, who knows. And they say, okay, well, what's the login information for changing the name servers on your domain? And they have no idea. Or they say, oh, that's the problem. It's not in my name. It's in their name. I can't get a hold of them. I'm trying. It's just a nightmare. So I think one of the things that's really important is that your domain, that if you have a domain, your client is registered in their name, so they have control over it, so they can access it, log in, and change something later on. All right, so that is one thing. Now another thing, digital assets that you should own. You should have full access to your web hosting. For the same reasons, I was talking to someone the other day, and I don't know if they're having some problems with their hosting, so they're having some problems with some email getting emails. And so I told them that I had hosting and stuff like that. And they said, oh, I just got my hosting sorted out. It was with someone before. They were gaslighting them or ghosting them, and it just was a nightmare. So they didn't want to change at all. So they were actually preferred to stay with the hosting that was causing them some problems, instead of risk changing to someone else, because they just didn't want to lose things, or go through that bad experience again. So yes, you should definitely have full access to your web hosting account. And so that way, full access to your web hosting account. I would also say you should have full access to an offline backup of your web hosting account. All right, now this could be tricky for people that have very, very large web hosting accounts. Like if you've got, the other day there's someone that had, I think it was about 6 gigabytes, because they have a lot of audio files and some things maybe they've forgotten about, or backups. So that can be tricky. Although having said that, if you have Akeeba Backup, you can have Akeeba Backup Pro. You can have it back up to Dropbox or Google Drive. For Dropbox, 2 terabytes of backup space, 1 terabyte or 2 terabytes of backup space, it only costs you about $15 a month. Now, eventually we can all end up sort of like drowning in the expense of all this software as subscription stuff. It's $15 here for Dropbox and this for G Suite and blah, 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 blah. And next thing you know, all you're doing is buying software every month and you're not making any money. But for something as important as having your stuff backed up in your possession off of web hosting account, that's worth the price. Even if you have if you even have full access to the web hosting account, and something happens to that account, or that company goes down, or who the heck knows what happens, your web designer bangs their head and gets really angry and thinks the world's against them, and then they go and they lock everything up. If you've got backups on your own of your own stuff offline in your own Dropbox account or somewhere, then you're fine. You just have to find some new hosting, upload it, and you would just have problems for a couple of days. Mary says she's using Amazon for backups. Pretty affordable. Yes, Amazon has some pretty affordable backups for things to just be sitting there. So, yeah, that's another option. And I believe I believe Akeeba Backup Pro goes to Amazon. I also now, so I have a server. I offer hosting to my clients. I don't compete for hosting. Like I don't get out there and try to get. I'm not looking for 1,000 people to give me $5 a month for hosting, because then supporting those 1,000 people is very, very pricey, very expensive, and you have to hire people. It takes a lot of time. So it's just not, and it's just not something I want to do. So I run a server that my sites run on. And it's very fast. I don't throttle it. I have other people. So, and I offer my clients hosting on there as part of my monthly maintenance package. I have a tool on there called that I use called JetBackup, and it will also back up entire web hosting accounts. So not only just the website stuff like Akeeba does, but it'll back up email, settings, everything to Dropbox or to an external thing. So that's something too, and that costs me. I think it's like, yeah, I'll say something Canadian here. I think it costs me like $6.95 US every month. So, excuse me for coughing. Bjorn says, oh, I need to get a drink of water here. Bjorn says he uses pCloud for a long time, but Akeeba Backup dropped it, so you switch to Dropbox. Yeah, I'm using I'm actually, what do I use? Oh, OneDrive. I'm using OneDrive. OneDrive, interesting. If you get Office 365, you can get, I use a family pack. There's 5 licenses. One for each of my kids. That's 3. My wife and myself. We use that. And I back up a lot of stuff to OneDrive. Each account gets 1 terabyte of backup, and you get 60-minute Skype credits every month as well. So that's a lot of space. You could actually just set up. You could pay for a couple of accounts, one of those bulk accounts, and back up to. You don't have to have other people using those profiles. So. All right, so you should have full access to an offline backup of your hosting account. All right, let's go down to self-care. Now remember, if you wanted to add something to this document or type, you are more than welcome to. There's the link in chat, and that will let you type on here. All right, so let's put something down for self-care just so we have something. I take one day a week off. All right, that is just something that I have been doing now. Michael says he uses OneDrive for Akeeba, and Jet is included with your reseller package. Nice. Yeah, JetBackup. JetBackup is also, you can make it available for your clients to use it and just set up and run their own backup stuff as well. So I don't really have any clients doing that. And I actually only have a couple of clients that I'm backing up with that as well. Now, having said that, with my server, I also have a Cronus backup for my whole server. And so I'm backed up. My files are so backed up, I'm almost constipated. So with the Cronus, I know there's an off server backup of all my client stuff. So, but as far as the client rights, you should have access to your own stuff. Okay, so I take 1 day a week off, and that is just because, and I guess I've put this one day. We should let them know that take 1 day a week off. That day is Sunday. All right. So I take Sundays off because I work at home, and so I am forever. Constantly, work is just always there. Sometimes when I take a break from work, I go and sit on the couch just over here on the other side of my basement, and I'll watch the videos. And then sometimes when I take a break from watching videos, I'll go back and do work. So it's just always here. So I have consciously decided to just take 1 day off where I'm not working. So I'm available for emergencies. I have no problem with that. There have been the odd time where somebody needed something done on a Sunday. So a couple of weeks ago, had someone who's running for a district council in the fall elections that we're having, and they were doing their campaign launch speech at a park, and they wanted that recorded. So I got my photographer and video guy, and we went, and so so I did some work that day. But I'm trying to just take a day where my brain is just off on that, and it allows me to either do other things, or actually even this last Sunday I napped for a couple of hours, and it just carves out room. And by making myself not work one day a week, it forces me to find other things to do, and it just gives a pattern change for my brain. Bjorn can't write in the document. Let's see here. There's an anonymous walrus and an anonymous frog up here at the top. So there's some people trying to. Hey, Chuck, why can't you write on the document? Let's see here. This is... let's see. Viewer trend. No viewer comment trend. Sharing history. Anyone on the internet with this link. Oh, anyone on the internet with this link can view. Anyone on the internet with this link can edit. Okay. Done. There we go. I think you'll be able to type on there now. This is the first time I've ever created a public document like this and put it out there for people to go ahead and type in. So I thought this would be better than just having things in the comments, because this will be something left over that I can read a lot easier in the comments. Chuck, did I say hi to you, Chuck? Hi, Chuck. Hi, Chuck again. There, second or third time. This is the Google Doc link here if you want to type some things in. So let me know, everyone, if you are able to type in there now too. Just try something. Oh, there we go. Anonymous leopard. Oh yeah, look, we got anonymous quagga. There we go. All right, so anonymous leopard is down at the bottom and typing. Yep, there's an H. Hi. Excellent. So I take 1 day a week off. That day is Sunday. All right. Great. So here we go. Whoever anonymous quagga is, you make it clear to clients that email is the best way to reach. Excellent. I like that. And that was one of the points I was going to make. One of the things that I struggle with is... and this is probably a delicate discussion for us to have, is well, I want to talk later on about how sometimes clients are not as organized as we are. Sometimes they're more organized than we are. But I think that so I have clients that send me messages on Skype, WhatsApp, text through my cell phone, call my cell phone, like the other, like it was one night at the end of the day. I had, I don't think it was a Sunday, but we were watching television. We just finished supper. We're watching something on the TV, and someone called, and I knew that it wasn't an emergency, but because this person had been kind of just calling on and off about some things, relatively new client. And so when I looked at it, I thought, I could answer and just talk to them. But I thought, you know what? They're not on one of my major maintenance plans anyways. So I just didn't answer the call, let it go to voicemail. And then actually later on that night, even though it was evening, later on that night, I checked my email, or they had texted. They texted also, and said what was going on. It was something they wanted added to a site, or something changed. And so I actually did it that night before going to bed, just quickly for them. They're kind of in a hurry up thing. Hurry up mode. They've been kind of, anyways. So that I like that. Make it clear to clients that email is the best way to reach me. And also, what I want to communicate to my clients is that we use a task management software, and emails are how we sort through things. So that's good. We use task management. We use project. I'll put that. We use project management software to be organized and efficient. Messages support messages by text, Skype, Messenger, WhatsApp may be missed or lost. Maybe missed or lost. Why? Because lost. Because they are not workflow friendly. All right. Yeah, and part of that too is that I've had people message me about something and I see it and I'm out and about, or I just turn my phone on and I see it and go, oh, okay, so and so contacted me about such and such. Okay, I'll deal with that later. And then later on, I go to try to find that message and I cannot find it anywhere. I don't know where it went. So certainly by email, it's good. I would also say, I'm just going to put on here too, just for my own notes. Email is the best way to reach us. That's good. Okay, so email is the best way to reach us. Feedback is also feedback through user back is also a good way. Now I'll have to explain what FuserBack is. That's that app that I've shown you before that you can people can draw things on their site, and it goes and creates task management things. So that's good. Another nice thing too is we've seen on the channel that I use ClickUp for task management. Every task or every client area, every task has its own email address. So you can actually set up a mail filter. So any mail that comes from a client, not only do you see it as mail, but it also creates a task inside that task management. And so it keeps things together for working. So that's good. All right, another line down here. I like that clients use a form to contribute help to others. Okay, yes. We like, oh, someone's changing. I think that's Mary. Mary must be anonymous leopard. You should be anonymous goat, Mary, if the internet was set up properly. Although that might not be Mary. Yes, clients use a form to contribute helps to others. Yeah. Now, is that a self-care? Because that could also be a client right, a client's right to support. All right, let's put that. You have the right to support. I'm going to put just put in language that is understandable to you. All right, so a lot of times people get supported with jargons or technical terms they don't understand, and so you have the right to support. You have this in language that is understandable to you from community, from our CyberSalt community. Now I'm going to put CyberSalt community, but and yeah, so maybe from our CyberSalt community forum. Okay, so I wonder if Mary wonders, is there a Joomla extension that will import emails like you're describing ClickUp does? Yes. RS Tickets has a cron job that will run on an email program, an email address, so a POP box, and it gets those emails and it will process them and does some processing. Yes. So I know that's the thing that RS Tickets does. Whether that's what does it do everything that ClickUp does, I'm not sure, but I think the email thing in ClickUp is part of the free version of ClickUp as well. So we can so I think that is true, but All right. Client writes. All right. Here comes anonymous cormorant is typing something, so that's great. Look, we got 4 people that are up there clicked in on this. So let's see. We'll wait for that to type in. All right. What do you have the right to support in language understandable from our CyberSoc community forum? Another thing under digital assets that this should belong. Any memberships, any software memberships you are paying for should be in your name. Okay, so I ran into this with the client. They had given their developer money to buy extensions for use on their site. And then when the things did not work out well with their developer, and the developer took off or whatever, they did not have access to any of the extensions that they had purchased for their site. Now, I have monthly maintenance packages, and so for maintaining people's Joomla sites, and so what I include in that is updating extensions that I have developer licenses for, that I have memberships for, that allow me to use them on multiple sites. And so, but I don't say to my clients, here, give me this money and I will get such and such an extension for you. What I clearly explain to them is that if you're going to have me, as I maintain your site each month, I have these memberships, and so you can, so I'll be updating your site with them. That is good too, because it works out well for the clients, because even if down the road they decide, Tim, you're a loser, I don't want you to work for me anymore, they're not out any money because they didn't pay for those memberships. They were just benefiting from them under service that I offer to my clients. So, so software memberships that they are paying for should be in their name. Down here under self-care, I provide a client login on my site so requests get saved in the database as well as email. Okay, nice. That's a nice touch too. The other day I had someone say, "Hey, we received that." So they have a form set up for people to register for membership for a year, and then at the end of that form it says "Send us money." By e-transfer. So they said, "Hey, we've got an e-transfer, but we don't know who it's for. Can you see if there's an email stuck somewhere?" Now they're using a form, Convert Forms, and it's Convert Forms Pro. And so everything submitted through that form, actually there was a record of it in the submissions in the website. So I was able to look at the date of that they told me for the payment, and I was actually able to tell them, because they have access to their site, say, "Hey, here's where you can see anything that was submitted. It looks like it was this date." Let's see. Another thing that reminds me, you should have full access to the back end of your Joomla of your website. Now, I know that in some cases people don't want your website. Some people don't want to have that access, and I also know sometimes that I know that there have been clients that are constantly messing things up, and so we restrict access for it. You should have the level of access to the back end of your website that you want, that you wish. How's that? Okay. Again, I had a client that had a fallout with their developer, and one of the stories they told, that when they were working with the developers, they were constantly asking for access to things on the site, and the developer was not letting them have access to every area. So they technically, it's their website, but they weren't super users. Just imagine, it's like if you had a house and someone was managing the property, but you own the house, and they said you can only go in certain rooms, and you said, well, I want to go into this other room. Well, no, I don't want you to go in the room because I've got it organized the way that I want. I get it that sometimes clients mess things up, especially, I guess probably part of the frustration that could be a client messes things up, and then we have to fix them, and they're not paying us to. When clients say things to me like, "Oh, can I go in there and do this myself?" or "Am I, is it okay if I go in and look around?" I say, "It's your site. You go ahead, look around, and if you break anything, that's what I'm here to. You can hire me to fix it." But and that just lets them know that yes, it's their site and that they're responsible for something that happens. And if they mess things up, then of course, and I've told them, I've said, they really can't do much that will break the site. Although we know that if, for instance, they got into DB Replacer from Regular Labs, they could really mess it up. That said, always make sure that you've got good backups of things. I back up my client sites to my OneDrive, so I have recent backups of what was there. In fact, I have a client, this client that is running for district council. 4 years ago, he ran, and I built him a website. He did not want hosting. He just kept renewing his domain. He understood he didn't want a website. So I took it off my server because it's just sitting there. But I took a backup of his Joomla site, and I tucked it away in a little folder I call Grace Storage. All right. So I just put things there, but people aren't paying for it. But I just know that if they ever came back and needed it, it would be really helpful for them. And so I tucked it away, and sure enough, before back in August, he contacted me. He says, I'd like to get the website going again and make some changes. And had I think I sent him the backup as well, but I also knew that he was probably going to lose it or didn't know what to do with it or where it would be, or he would store it in his computer, and who knows whether he has the same computer or what happens. But anyways, I actually had a backup of his site and was able to restore it. All right, lots of typing going on here. Yes, okay, yeah, self-care. All right, so let's see here. Under self-care, you're responsible for your own doing to the site. We will help you if something falls under our terms elsewhere. There's an extra cost. Okay, yes. That's a really good point to make it clear that self-care is that if someone breaks their own site, that there is an extra cost. That's good to express that. Also, what I would say is let's see. What would I say up here? Whether I want to say it. Okay, there's you have the right to get support within the business day. Okay, that's a good entry there. You have the right to get support within the business day. Yes. Or here comes, or within. We'll see what's being typed there. A number of hours. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Under the right to support. The right to get support within business day or within a number of hours, not days. All right. So yes, you have the right to prompt support. There are websites, there are sites out there that say that they will answer within 24 hours on business days. And that is, that's something really to step up to supply. let's see. You're responsible for doing. You want to say one of the things I was going to say is. First, and some of this has to be fixed up here, but you have the right. I'd say you should not be charged for our. I was going to say, I would just type this up, for our own disorganization. You should not be charged for time used because of our own miscommunication or disorganization. I think some of these things too I will fill out and fill out. So for instance, the whole thing about disorganization. So for instance, if I lose an email that someone has sent, or all right, so they've sent me a request, it goes into task management, and I just forget to check it, or I miss it, and there's a delay or something, and it costs them. I'm not going to charge them for time. Oh, now I've got to go and find this. Oh, there it is. 15 minutes later, I actually found it. Okay, and then I'm not going to charge them 15 minutes because I was disorganized and couldn't find something. That said, the reason I wanted to mention that too. We will. That said, I want to somehow express that time that we spend because of their disorganization is billable time. I don't want to make it sound as harsh as that, but you know the situation. So you are working with someone, and listen, again, I don't, and that's up here. I'm gonna put this number one. Your worth is not determined by your technical skills, knowledge. You should not be looked down on, nor should you should not be looked down upon, or your worth determined, You should not be looked down upon or your worth determined because of your technical skill. Should not be judged. This is judged. Should not be judged or your worth determined by your technical skills or knowledge. All right. So that's really key. But what I want to say is that passwords are here to stay, and even though we hate to organize them, or we hate to try to remember them, or they just, some people get frustrated with technology, and so instead of just taking the time to sort things out, I'm guilty. We all do it at a certain level wherever we're comfortable or uncomfortable with technology. We just don't have them. We just don't have those passwords. We just don't organize properly. So you know the scenario. You're helping someone, and they say, "Okay, let me just log in." And go, "Oh, I forget what the password is," and so then they spend 10 minutes trying to figure it out, or resetting the password, or going, and you're helping them reset the password and get things. You're just helping them navigate it. But that can take 10, 15 minutes. That eats up time, and I think part of self-care is that that time is charged. Yeah, is that, I think RS tickets. As well as our Akeeba.com products. Yes, products has Akeeba's got a help desk extension as well. We charge for time we spend because of your because you are disorganized. This sounds really. This has to be put down in a nice way. I'm just gonna put this down as a principle. Time we spend because you're disorganized is billable time. All right. And then put in brackets forgotten passwords. And I see that others of you are there typing things, and I'm going to get to that. Forgotten passwords, i.e. forgotten passwords. Forgotten logins. Passwords. Misplaced emails. And that. The other thing I'm going to say is that time we spend interacting with other service providers you have hired is billable time. And the reason I say that is this. Consider this situation. Someone is paying $5 a month for web hosting somewhere, and they need something changed. Something's not working, and so you are on there interacting. I'm going to say interacting or using other service providers have hired. Maybe billable, is billable time. So you're on super slow, cheap web hosting. You need, something's not working right. You realize that what the problem is. You contact that host's support department because the other person, your client doesn't understand. You get to level 1 tech support for that host, and they tell you everything that you're doing wrong. You explain to them, no, this is the situation. And then they open up a ticket, and there's other things. You can spend like half an hour, 45 minutes trying to sort out something with some other company that person is paying $5 for. And so if, they're paying $5 for hosting, they should get support from that hosting company. If they can't get proper support, then basically I just think for self-care, at the time that we spend dealing with other companies that though our clients are paying to support them is billable time. All right, so let me just go up here and see what is just see what let's see. Okay, so you have to get support for the business day. Yeah, I like that. Okay. From our Cyberstock community forum. Yeah. With a number of hours. And you should have level X. Okay. Self-care email is the best way to reach us. Great. I'm going to make this a different line. We like that clients use a forum to contribute to others. Yeah. You're responsible for your own doing to the site. We'll help you if something falls under terms elsewhere. There is an extra cost. We have the right to use third-party help if we lack knowledge or run into complications. Okay, yeah, that's a good point because we just let people know that sometimes we need to talk. Now, in the case of a non-disclosure agreement, you would probably have to get permission to talk to others if there's anything specific. But self-care, yeah, we have the right. Yeah, so we'd say we sometimes. I'm going to put we sometimes use third-party help if we lack knowledge or run into complications working on your project. All right. That's good. That's a good thing for self-care. I'm behind on a couple of support requests that I need to write to developers. Just again, it's just that sit down and actually do it kind of thing. But that's something that I need to remind myself that instead of for self-care, instead of spending 3 hours struggling with something, if I can really just take 10 minutes and make a quick post or a quick video to someone and send it, say, hey, how would I do this? or I'm having problems with this, or do you have any idea on what I should do here, or even post in the forum, that is good because that frees up my time. But yeah, Bjorn copied the doc. You are very welcome to copy it. Everybody's welcome to copy this. And if you're watching on the replay and you want access to this, send me an email, tim@cybersalt.com, and I will get it to you, because I don't know how long this Google Doc will be open, or how much it'll open. All right, self-care. You should be spoken to politely. You should be spoken to politely and respectfully. And of course, we put the same thing. We should be we should be spoken to. We should be spoken to politely and respectively. I had a friend. He's a friend from the Chamber of Commerce, and he's. I don't even know if curmudgeon is the right term. He won't be seeing this, so. But he's been a pretty grumpy guy, and he's also that type that gets frustrated with things, and I think part of his I don't know, his coping mechanism is not really a great one, but anyways, when he has conflicts or people disappoint him or whatever's going on, he sort of just rejects them or just accuses them of doing bad things or whatever. But anyways, he's recently had a stroke, and so I think that softened him a little bit. But I did a web project for him the other day. He just needed, anyways, he just wanted some text on a page. That's all he wants. So we spiffed it up just to make it look nice. It's just information that he wants for potential clients. Went over it with him online, but then we had this nice cloud graphic in behind the outside of the borders, and man, I got up the other morning, I think it was Saturday morning, and there was like 4 emails from him. He's just so mad, and one of them he was swearing in, and he just wanted the whole site taken down. So, not ideal, and I kind of know, I know what's going on in his life, so I don't, I can take it. I'm not bothered by it. I just fixed it and took it down for him, and just was fine. But I think that said, if there are clients who are toxic in the way they deal with us. For instance, there's one guy years and years and years ago built a website for it. He was very passive aggressive. Whenever they just signed, he would just get really aggressive, and I just kind of thought to myself, you know what? I don't really need to be doing a lot of work for this guy, because it's not pleasant. I mean, you take some to do, everyone's going to have a bad day, and everybody's, going to be grumpy at times. But this was a pattern where he just really, when he got frustrated with technology, he just would lash out. Again, people put so much pressure on themselves that if, to understand everything, and they're so afraid to look stupid or something like that, or even not even that, to just to be seen as not knowing something in the presence of someone that knows something, and they just overcompensate by just, I don't know, like the smoke screen of anger or frustration. So we spoke, and we let's see, we what is it? We reserve the right to terminate working relationships. Relationships that are toxic. Yeah. So in the case of my friend, I kind of thought, okay, I know where he's going. I want to help him in his life now, but I thought I probably am not going to take on any big projects with him or do really much more. I'll try to help him, but it just doesn't become worth it. Michael says, one of those can't you just clients. Yes. There's one client that I had. His business is closed now. He's retired, and his job was his business. He installed trailer hitches on on vehicles for towing trailers. I saved him 1 year. I saved him probably close to $16,000 because he's going to do a big Yellow Pages ad campaign and all kinds of stuff. And I asked. I said, "Have you paid? Have you paid yet?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well," and I showed him really what the lie of what they were pitching to him, and that he was getting no traffic, and I told him it would be better for him to just bid on Google ads. So you think that having saved him $16,000 that he would be really appreciative. Well, then so I think he was spending $200 a month on ads, and but after that, anyways, moving on from that, whenever I would do things, he would just tell me it should only take half an hour. I mean, he was just super super cheap. And so again, I would so he would say, let's have how about putting an article on there, the importance of maintaining bearings on a trailer. That's what he'd say. He says, it should only take you half an hour. I mean, if he had sent me the content written completely, then of course, I could have put it on in half an hour. But he wanted me to write content. So I had to figure out why it was. I mean, I guess I could figure out why it's important. I'm somewhat mechanically minded. But everything he said to me was like, "Oh, can you do this? It should take you half an hour. Oh, can you do this? It should take you half an hour." And so I actually thought about, I thought it'd be fun to take my vehicle over and say, "Hey, can you put a hitch on this, on my car? It should take you about half an hour." But I didn't. That wasn't exactly toxic, but it was grinding. And what I did notice there, and just about self-care, I don't know how you put this in print, but I came to know that you come to notice that there's some clients that just are not going to be profitable clients because they're cheap. Or they don't understand, and you try to communicate them the costs and say to them, "Hey, I could have someone write an article for that. It would probably cost about to get someone to write it and research it for $100, and then it'll take charge you half an hour to put it on. We'll do the SEO and all that. It'd be a couple $100 price." And if they don't see the value, it can just kind of grind you down. And so I think part of the big things for me with self-care is I really like to help people. But sometimes I can grind myself down trying to get through to people to help them till they're happy, and sometimes I just need to move on. Yes, Michael says people think you know their business inside and out, so we should maybe put something in here. Something in there about clients, right? You are the expert for. I don't want to say regarding the content on your site. Yeah. Okay. You should be spoken to. This isn't necessarily the right order, but you. What would you say? I don't know what to say about that. How do you put that in client rates? I want to tell them that they have the right to supply content. Let's say, we are not experts in every field and topic. The content and message of your website is your responsibility. Your response message provided by you. We can help. We can help. We can help with. We can help with content development. Site as for an extra charge. All right. All right. We can help with content development for your site for an extra charge. All right. And then someone just posted, we respect your content as long as it's not illegal or goes against our moral boundaries. All right. That's excellent too. Now, here in Canada, I'm bound by the Canadian Charter of Rights. I cannot refuse work that is legal, so yeah. I probably in Canada can't refuse work based on my moral boundaries. Probably, I don't know. As an incorporated business, but I like what that line is getting to. So, for instance, I'll tell you what I this summer, I had co-op students, and there was somebody that there was a client that wanted a quote, and it was and so I was going to a project be worked on, and I was going to get one of my co-op students to work on it, and I thought, oh, you know what? I wonder if they're comfortable with this. So I said to them, hey, here's a site. Are you comfortable working on this site? Because if you're not, that's fine. Now I could not. I don't think under Canadian law I could refuse. And although could refuse work that's legal, but is not in keeping with my morals or my beliefs. But as an employer, I don't have to inflict that on my clients. I don't have to inflict that on my employees or on students that are doing co-ops. And so, and this really comes down to integrity. Integrity is doing the right thing when nobody is looking. I think that we all know that if there's a project that comes along that is not our thing, or that we're not comfortable with, there's ways that we can get out of doing that. We can say, we'll talk to my staff, we looked at this, and right now we don't have the capacity to do that. All right, so if I don't have people that are available to work on a project because it makes them uncomfortable, and I don't have time to work it on myself, then in that case, all right, so it's not something we're going to take on. I would never say to someone, oh, I'm not working on that because you're stupid, or I'm not working on that because you're immoral, or I'm not working on such and such, such and such. That's just an invitation to get sued anyways. But yeah, certainly, part of self-care is keeping things, is avoiding the conflict of working on things that are really difficult. Now, I think it's probably common for professionals to factor in part of the cost of project on whether or not they're going to, what's the value of what they're going to have to deal with. So, for instance, let's back to another sort of recent election thing. I was contacted through the Chamber of Commerce by someone on Monday who would like an all candidates meeting for the school trustees to be recorded tomorrow night. So I'll get contacted on Monday, and then it's for tomorrow night. So I had to track down the person because they didn't leave any contact information. They just left their name through the contact form. But I found them on Facebook because I had a very rare name, combination of names. And so I contacted them, and I said, I'm just checking with my camera guy that I hired to do things. I said, what's your budget? And they said they didn't know that they would ask tomorrow. That's today, Wednesday. They're going to ask. And I said to them, all right. So I thought, okay, here, late in time. They've known this is coming up for a long time. Now they're sort of in a rush to find someone. They don't know what their budget is. I said, you want it just online? You want to live stream it, or do you want to record it and upload it later? So they said they wanted to record and upload it later. So this is going to be a 2-hour forum. They want to record it. And then I got thinking, and they said, we don't know if we have the budget for this. And of course, like I said, I'd asked, well, what's your budget? And they said, oh, yeah, I'll have to ask tomorrow. So I realized, oh my goodness, it's going to be 2 hours. There's going to be setup. There's going to be 2 hours. After we get the recording for this, I'm going to have to somehow get it to them. They're going to have to probably figure out where to upload it to. I don't know if they have a place because they did. Anyways, I just perceived that this job was going to be a big one. And so instead of deciding, what time it would take, I thought, wow, this is going to take a lot of extra time. It's going to take some energy. It's going to take me away from some other projects that I could be working on. So I think really for the evening and for managing everything and anticipating what's going to have to be done, and I quoted them a price, and they said, "Oh, thanks for letting us know. That's probably beyond what we can afford." And I said, "Oh, I understand." And then I actually pointed them to an example of where someone just used a phone to stream to Facebook another All Candidates meeting. My point about all this is that I could have just said, oh, X amount of money for these hours, and the people probably would have gone for the job. But when I think about all that's involved and the requirements and the headache that was going to come along with dealing with them because they were disorganized and just kind of getting a vibe for where they were coming from, I realized that the cost to do that work was going to be more on me than just time. And so I think maybe, let's say if a white supremacist organization contacted me and said, hey, we need you to do some maintenance on our website. And I thought, oh, white supremacists suck. But if I just say, hey, white supremacists suck, then, I maybe get a cross burned on my yard or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, you see where I'm going with this. There's probably, if they need some maintenance, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is going to be horrible, but I can't refuse that work because this is a legal organization somewhere, and I don't want to get sued. Well, then I'll just quote a higher price than what someone who was a white supremacist web designer would be thrilled to do it for and help out the cause. And I suppose even if they went and said, okay, yeah, we'll pay that ridiculous price, you can always donate it to charity or something like that if you do that work. Or, of course, we always have the right to just say no to work and let things fall where they may. So, Michael says he tries to cover all angles in your terms. You always big up clients as being the expert in their field to encourage content, but you have the right to edit everything. Oh, right, I like that. And Tony says maybe the first paragraph should read, by the lack of your technical skills or knowledge. Let's go up and see. You should not be judged or your work determined by the lack of your technical skills or knowledge. I like that. By the lack of your technical skills or knowledge. And I'm going to put in there, we don't know things too. We don't know things too. We don't know things too. Yeah, okay, I like that. We got something else down here. Oh, I like this. This here. We respect your content as long as it's not illegal or goes against our moral boundaries. Okay. We should be spoken to politely and respectfully. Reserve the right to terminate working relationships that are toxic. Yeah. I just got that highlighted there and copied. Okay, I like this one down here. Take time to compile a set of terms and conditions on your site. Make sure the client agrees to the terms. Yes. Um, um, yeah, and I'm gonna put this down, and of course I'm gonna kind of edit this in the end. But yeah, we take time to carefully. Whoops. Make sure I'm gonna. Yes, we take time to carefully prepare and outline project proposals. And agreed. Project proposals and time to carefully prepare and outline project proposals. I guess I have to. Yeah, I like that line there. Whoever typed that, that's really great. Take time to compile a set of terms and conditions on your site. Yeah, so I use that. We've looked at it before on the stream. Quoters. It's that proposal package. It has worked really, really well. I think back 2 years ago to a client that I thought was going to be super well organized, and it turned out that in their organization they had a lot of people at different levels trying to make decisions on things, and different things were coming down to me, different than had been originally discussed in getting ready in the quoting process. But I had everything down in print, and there'd be a good chain of emails as well, but I had it down in the proposal. And so when they started making changes, or people who weren't in charge said, oh, for instance, one of the things they wanted was that every page on the site you should be able to get to it with no more than 3 clicks, let's say. And then someone just started suggesting design things. They wanted things a certain way. They wanted this and da 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 da. And they also wanted it to be a fast loading site. And what this person was suggesting was going against that. And I said, look, this is not what we agreed to. This is not what you asked me to do. And so they could see it very clearly. And instead of there being an argument like, no, you said this, or we thought this, it was right there. They had signed it. They agreed. And they had, so it really saved me a lot of heartache. It saved me money too, because they paid out that contract when I was done the work, and then they moved on to something else. They had changed their mind along the way that they wanted something else, but it saved me a lot of time and frustration. Yeah, Michael, if you want to, you've got a wrench. If you want to post a link to your terms, hey, anybody else, or even if you want to post a link here on that document, let's do this. Resource links. Let's put that there, and I'm going to make this heading. Yeah, if you want to paste your links down there to any terms or things that you do, then we can. Michael's got his there, so I'm going to click here, copy, good, and I'm going to paste that there. All right, thank you for sharing that. Okay. All right. And I was just down here typing on this one thing here. Take time to. We take. I'll tell you, be careful not to have more things for self-care than the client writes, although these are bulleted nicely up here. I don't know if you've seen this, and I've never acted on this, but I actually have a thing on my proposals now that says that if the client does not supply the content for the project in 30 days, after 30 days of the beginning of the project, that the second half of the amount agreed for the project becomes due. So I always have 50% down payment or deposit before work starts, and so I just have a little line there. I've never activated it, but I just want them to read it, and I want to have it there just that lets me flex if they get super grumpy down the road. It just says that, yeah, if they haven't supplied the content for their site after 30 days, then the remainder of the money is due, and also there'd be a delay because we tried to sort out the terms of the schedule of other projects being done. Literally, I've talked about this before, mentioned before. I had a client years ago that I asked for 4 times for content for the site, and then when we got together to look at the site, they were super upset with me because the site was not finished, and I told them I can't finish it unless you send me content for it. And I think that was a case too where I invoiced them and they were super mad because I finally invoiced them for the amount of money that was due, and for work and different things, and they were super mad because the site wasn't even done yet. How could I ask for money? So that's a good thing. Michael says he has something similar. Cool. Let's see here. This is where all right, take time to come on. Yes. Okay, that's terms and conditions on the site, and we take time to carefully prepare and outline project proposals. That help. This is probably the weakest one that I've typed there. So, times we interact with the project. We sometimes use third-party help if we lack knowledge or run into complications working on your project. You're responsible for doing your own doing to the site. Yeah, clogging. We like that clients use a forum to contribute to help. Yeah, email is the best way to reach us. We'll always keep your information to ourselves. Oh, yeah, privacy. Oh, I like that. We will always keep your information to ourselves and not share it to spammers or to third parties. To third parties. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. And that would be up here. Cut. Just put this here. Yeah, so your information should always be kept private and not shared with spammers or third parties. That's a good one in there. Yeah, let's just take a look while we're here at Michael's. I think if I hit Control, I still have it up here anyways. Control V, let's look what he's got here. Please read our terms and conditions before entering a contract or ordering any service from cuff.net. You will be required to confirm that you have read and understand these terms prior to placing an order with us. Nice. Terms using this website, cuff.net. Yeah, client, any person, individual, group, company, organization requests any service or enters a contract with cuff.net. Yeah. Domain name, hosting, company provide, downtime, period, where the website is not available to viewer access, SEO search engine, websites that collect material, refers to any content supplied by cuff.net to the client, scope, our ability to fulfill project, Okay, and website. We will discuss your requirements at length and completely free of charge at the initial contact stage via email or phone. There is no time limit to pre-contract discussions. However, you will be required to declare your requirements at the initial stage of inquiry to allow us to form a plan for your website and further discussion. Complex or company websites require extended planning and will be charged at our standard support costs. Okay. So that's you're just saying a complex or company website that there is a fee for working out the planning for them. Okay, I like that. We reserve the right to cancel all communication to free advice or consultation if we suspect any abuse of our free services. Okay, yeah, that's nice too. Yeah. Contracts are normally only required for the construction of a website. Other services such as support management, hosting, SEO will not require a contract but remain subject to terms and conditions. Following pre-contact discussions, cuff.net will provide the client with a cost to complete the work or service plan detailed and agreed at the pre-contract stage. Upon signing the contract electronically or otherwise, the client will be required to pay 30%. Okay, 30% form a non-refundable deposit. The remaining 70% will be payable on completion of work to client satisfaction, subject to delivery terms. Okay, delivery. Upon receipt of a signed contract and deposit, cuff.net will start work on the construction website. Website construction will be complete within the agreed contracted period of time, subject to pre-contract discussions, specification agreements. Client will be required to arrange or provide suitable hosting at the outset of contract work. Hosting arranged by cuff.net is for a minimum of 1 year and subject to terms. The client will be required to provide a name before completion of contract and within a set period. Time frames will vary and be advised pre-contract. The maximum period is set at 60 days in normal circumstances. It can be extended. Yeah, I just had a client project that we set the project to be done at the end of September. Started at the beginning of September. It's a migration, and we ran into some page builders that were not. We knew the page builders were not going to be compatible with Joomla 4, but it turned out that there was like 50 pages that had code in the pages from this page builder, and so they were actually working on converting those pages. And so long story short is that they emailed me yesterday and said, we should probably go with a softer completion date because we've run into these things. Are you okay with that? And I said, yes, I'm absolutely fine with that. So instead of finishing at the end of September, which of course we didn't, we're making good progress, but the terms of the contract or the proposal I sent them had changed, and so they wanted to just change them, and that was great. So time frames will vary. The client will be expected to provide materials in form of images and text. Oh, that's good. And logos be included website. And agreed in time frames. Nice. Okay. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff here. This is really good. I probably will not read this all, but see, we got payments of services provided in contract. Our rights and responsibilities. Yeah. Client approval of work. 14 days to examine. Yes. Rejection of work. I like this. These are really well written out and thought out. Michael, did you come up with these? Did you get them from somewhere? Did you have a lawyer work on them, or how did you come up with such a great set here? Listen. Oh yeah, there you go. Disclaimers. Yeah, I have a few disclaimers too on my proposals. You wrote it. Wow. I'm impressed. I'm very, very impressed. I could not write something like this. I could not write something like this. But that is excellent. Yeah, I guess part of, and that's one of the things about self-care is that you want to set yourself up to a place where you're not going to end up getting abused or things. Interestingly, the other day I had someone contact me and they wanted to hire me for an hour consultation, and I actually ended up meeting with them for a couple of hours. It was a Zoom call, and so in the end, I said to them, they said, "Well, how much do I owe you?" And I said, "Well, we talked for a couple of hours, but we looked at some things, and I showed you some things, and we talked and visited." I said, "Why don't we just call it an hour?" So I sent them an invoice for an hour, and they paid it, and so they paid $90, and but they also had a note saying, "Oh, just so just for future reference, if we do this again, it says on your website that your rate is $45 an hour." And I thought, "Ooh, gee, I must have a mistake somewhere or something." So I said, "Oh, okay, well, can you show me where it says that? But I'm happy to give you another hour down the road, no problem." So they showed me, and actually, what it was is that on I can show you right here what it was. I've lost the screen here. Just a sec here. Yeah. So I go to cybersalt.com to here, and I think it was services. Was it a consultation form? Yes. So over here where it said other services, it said I've changed it to 30-minute consultation, but what it said was consultation. It said $45 USD each consultation. And so they sent me the screenshot and they said, "Yeah, it says right there." And I thought, "Oh, so it wasn't until you click through to the service that you see that it's half hour and you can pick multiples." But I really appreciated that. That helped. So I said to them, "Oh, yeah, no, that I've changed the title so it says 30-minute consultation." And then also I told them, and of course, and you can still have an hour because I wanted them to be happy. So there had been a miscommunication. A couple of years ago, there's a guy that brought me a laptop that he wanted something fixed. I couldn't fix the laptop. It was a little notebook or something like that. And but I did get it so that he could do some other things on it. He could do mouse without borders. Anyway, somewhere along the line, he expressed that he was unhappy, and that it hadn't gone as he had hoped. And anyway, so whatever he was expecting, I thought I communicated very clearly, and it was just sort of a verbal thing over the phone. He lived down the road, so I gave him his money back, and I said, "Hey, I really want you to be happy. Obviously, we did not have a meeting of the minds because we could not agree on really what it was that he had wanted or what." And I said, "We didn't have an agreement of the mind, and so just take the money, no worries." I mean, I was out time, but I really did not want something. I didn't want someone who has to drive up the hill past my house every time they leave their house to be thinking like, "Oh yeah, there's where that guy lives that got my money and didn't fix things or didn't do what I wanted or whatever." And it actually worked out well because he replied and he says, "Oh, Tim, I really like the way that you handled this. I agree." And then he sent me back half the money. So, yeah, Michael says it's mostly made up from experience and of things going bad in the past. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. And, having terms and having proposals together, it's a pain. For me, it's kryptonite. I mean, some people like to write that stuff. For me, it's painful to slow down. But it's less painful than the pain of ending up in a situation where someone doesn't understand what's going on. So, yeah. All right. So, anybody, have I missed anything? Have I missed anything on here that you have typed? We got a bold in the always. So let's just review this here. You should not be judged or your worth determined by the lack of your technical lack of technical skills or knowledge. We don't know things too. You should be spoken to politely and respectfully. We respect your privacy. Yeah, always keep your information to ourselves and not share it with spammers or third parties. Your website and digital assets should belong to you. Your domain, that list that I had there. Yeah. You have the right to support. in language that's understandable to you from our community forum, and you have the right to get support within the business day, or within one business day, or within a number of hours, not days. You should not be charged for time used because of our own miscommunication or disorganization. Yeah. Self-care, I take a day off 1 week. That's Sunday. We're not experts in every field. The content and message of your website is your responsibility. It needs to be provided by you. Yes. We can help with content development for your site for an extra charge. We respect your content as long as it's not illegal or goes against our moral boundaries. Right. So we should be spoken to politely and respectfully. We reserve the right to we should be communicated with politely and respectfully. We reserve the right to terminate working relationships that are toxic. Email is the best way to reach us. I like that. We like that clients use a forum to contribute to help to others. Yes. So maybe it's up here. I've got this up here. You have the right to support, and then from that we hope you will help with supporting others too. Others as you are able. All right. Let's see. So I move that up. I'll take that down. I provide client logins. So okay. So that's talks about the communication there. Yep. You're responsible for your own doing to the site. Will help. Something falls in there. Sometimes we use third-party help if we lack knowledge or run into complications. Yeah. Take time to compile a set of terms and conditions on your site. Make sure the client agrees. Yeah, we take time to carefully prepare outline project. Yeah, time we spend because you're disorganized. Billable time. Forgotten logins, passwords, misplaced emails. Time we spend interacting or using other service providers you have hired is billable time. All right, other web hosts or extension or software products or services. All right. And then we have that resource link to cuff.net. All right, that is pretty good. And the big thing for me is now to actually create this page, so as I run into things, I can sort of organize them. And I guess that's sort of the work in progress kind of aspect that we have. I like that on Michael's site there. It says that these terms can be changed without notice. And of course, that's reasonable. I mean, if someone were to change, like if you change the terms, it says everything you own belongs to me. That's not going to work. But I think every changes that are reasonable are good too. Yeah, I cannot think of anything. Vinny says, did I see that I showed up in Joomla email newsletter twice? No, I've not really been doing much online today. I saw that they were looking for things to send out, and they do tend to pick up what I do, so that is great if that happened. Always happy for the plugs. Yeah, cool. I will check that later because I'll see their post of their newsletter when they share it in their group in which I am. All right, let me just say no to that phone call. We'll see who that is that's calling. That call says it's from Arizona. It could be someone from Arizona. It could be. I just answer. Sometimes it's threats of arrest from the Canadian government, that kind of spam. Sometimes it's who knows what it is. But anyways, Bjorn, you are super welcome. And Michael, thanks for sharing the link to your stuff. I take it it's okay if we borrow things from that or use things from that in partial or in its entirety, if that's okay with you. Probably maybe put our own spin on it or something like that, if that's okay. Yeah, a little bit different topic today because it fits for those of us that are doing Joomla for other clients. Although probably I hope it's helpful too for people that are working with someone who's building a site for them, just so that they can understand what is going on. Michael says yes. Thanks, Michael. All right, everybody. I think what we'll do there is wrap that up. I'm probably going to change. What do I want to do here? I don't want to start a meeting. Don't want to do that. I'm going to change. Anyone with the link can be a commenter. How's that? All right, so that closes it for editing. So nobody can make changes to that. So it will be there. I can make changes to it, and I might. It may disappear at some point. It probably will. But anyways, all right. Let's go chat on right here, and that's good. So everybody, let's get me centered in the picture here. And look at that. Got that up there. Everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate that. Appreciate spending another Wednesday with you and taking this time to work on something that I've been meaning to work on, and for your input, and it's all going to end up better. Tony, you are very welcome. Mary, yes. Yeah, a good topic for us today. And if you have other ideas or comments, you could put them in the comment section below here in the video, or you could email me, tim@cybersalt.com. And you'll see, and eventually I'll get this up on my site that will start to work out and fulfill that role that I want it to. All right, everybody, as usual, yes, thanks, Michael, and see you later, Vinny and Bjorn. I don't think Ira was on here today, was he? But Michael and Chuck. And who else was on here? Tony. You said that. So everybody, as usual, I hope that wherever you are, this finds you well, be it morning, afternoon, evening, or tomorrow. And until the next time, enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless.